I'm hyped. Hyped. There have been so many fantastic animated movies. There have been so many fantastic animated movies of late, and series as well. There's a lot, but one I've been most excited for has got to be Aardman's Wallace and Gromit: A Vengeance Most Foul. I mean, I've been hyped for this for a long time, and it's finally here. And I love stop motion animation. It's, in my opinion, the peak of animation. Literally hand-touched soul within art. It's crazy. The time and effort it takes. The last stop motion animated movies I saw was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and that was a pretty good movie. I think it's the best Pinocchio adaptation by far. It definitely is a little out there, but I mean, you know, what do you expect with Guillermo del Toro, you know? But back to Wallace and Gromit, because they are the peak of stop motion animation. Like, obviously. I remember one of my first movies I ever saw was Wallace and Gromit: A Great Day Out. And man, that is not a movie to show to a kid. I changed a bit after seeing that. But I mean, it's amazing. Like, if you know, you know. Like, the moon is cheese. Like, the cheese looks so good. Wednesday dial. Like, oh, but it hits in the feels, like, right here. But that's what I love about stop motion animation. There's like a certain je ne sais quoi with it that you just don't get with other mediums. I mean, some mediums try to copy it, but it just hits different. It just hits different. Aardman, the studio behind Wallace and Gromit, has been on a little bit of a hiatus or downturn ever since Early Man. And that movie was mid personified. I mean, it was just about like cavemen playing soccer. It was a little too British, I guess. I mean, like, you know, their movies are British comedy, but it's like endearing. This one was like a little too much. I don't know, it's forgettable too. I just couldn't remember any of it. I don't know, it was just, it was a movie, I guess, which really hurts to say that about stop motion animation, because I remember there's a lot of set pieces during that movie, and it must have took a lot of time, but like, it didn't hit like the other classics like Flushed Away and Chicken Run. Speaking of Chicken Run, there was Chicken Run 2 released last year. That came out after their hiatus. Well, hiatus from feature films, because they've been making short films. But Chicken Run 2 was a pretty good movie. Pretty good. It wasn't like the original Chicken Run, or the cult classic, basically just prison escape with chickens, but this one was like, I don't know, like a heist movie in a way, and it was pretty funny, and but I don't know, it just didn't capture in a way that the original did. It was, don't get me wrong, it's still a good movie, but I don't know. I was like, Aardman needs like a big hit to come back, and hoping with Wallace and Gromit, but with their track record, it was like, I don't know. Oh, and obviously during this time, they were still producing Sha the Sheep. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, Sha the Peak, obviously. And I think they made like a Star Wars episode. Again, so many great animated stuff, just hadn't had time to catch up. But let's talk about Wallace and Gromit finally. Is it good? Is it good? Come on. You already know the answer to that. Hey, of course it's good. Of course it's good. I was a little worried, as I said, but I mean, it's Wallace and Gromit. You can't mess that up. Now, let me just talk about how it's a little different, because it's not quite the same as the other Wallace and Gromit movies. I'd say it's a little more lighthearted. Like the old Wallace and Gromit movies, as I said before, they were a little scary, a little horror. But this one, it's like, it definitely takes itself a little more lighthearted. It does have like a little scary moments, but not as much as the other ones did. And it's definitely more comedy based. There are so many jokes, like the amount of times they use the word gnome. It's crazy. It hits though, it hits. It's definitely a lot more funnier than Chicken Run 2. I was watching with like family, and you know, they were laughing the entire time. It had me a bit. One of my favorite jokes were like the Up North news. That was a pretty good one. And Wallace and Gromit are not stranger to like crude jokes. I mean, just take a look at the were-rabbit carrot scene, like, wow. But obviously I won't talk about spoilers. The movie's better enjoyed by itself. I just want to talk about what I really like about it. You know, there is even a say that again moment, you know, if you know. It does change up the formula a little bit. Like, obviously it's a Wallace and Gromit movie, so you have Wallace blissfully ignorant and then Gromit trying to like take down the driving force. But it does change the fact in Wallace, you know, he's not risen up the huzz anymore, you know what I'm saying? I guess he's getting a little too old, so instead they replace it with like a cop duo who's like entertaining in itself. They're pretty funny, but it's like, dang, I kind of missed that part of Wallace rising up, you know? You know, Gromit, as reliable as ever, still is great. Surprisingly, there's a third member, as you can see by the promo art, which is the Gnome. Now, it's very easy for them to make this Gnome annoying, and I'm glad they didn't, because he's actually quite charming. He does like come off like a little minion-y, but I think he serves, and he's entertaining enough, and he's a little bit at the heart. It kind of reminds me of minions from Despicable 1 and how they were charming versus how the Gnome could have easily been minions now, you know? So they did the Gnome really, really well. And I guess it brings it up to modern technology. That's kind of how this movie feels different. That it feels modern. It's like they use a bunch of like smart electronic stuff. Like Wallace was always an inventor, but it really feels like he's like catching up on modern technology. And the animation in this movie, it is peak. Like you will have the question like, are they using CGI for this? Like, how did they do this? It is so smooth. Like the first 5 minutes is like, wow. Like obviously Wallace wake up scene, but I tried to search it up and it's all stop motion, which is insane. Like just for that, it's, you know. So I recommend it. It's a wonderful sit down movie. Get some people you love, enjoy, have a good time watching. Because that's the great thing about stop motion movies, or movies in general, but I have like a certain fondness with stop motion animation that it just, everyone connects with it. I remember seeing like Paranorman and Box Trolls in theaters, and I liked it. It was pretty nice. But you know, you get movies like Coraline, you know, all made by Laika, and man, everyone can relate to. Like, you ask anyone my age, like, have you seen Coraline? It's like, oh, I love the movie, but it was scary. When like stop motion animation as a medium has a way to like evoke so much more emotion than other mediums, which is what I love so much about it. Also, for like, I can't wait for their next movie. It looks a little bit hype, but again, animation just takes a long time, and I think that's the beauty of it. You could really, really see the hard work and labor behind these stop motion movies. But it's a shame with the modern animation workspace, because there is a lot of trouble. There was rumors of Aardman losing out on their clay production, but that was a rumor, I guess. But Aardman had a bunch of layoffs, which is unfortunate, and Arcane was labeled as not a financial success, and I think Blue Samurai had a bunch of layoffs. Like, it is not a good space to be an animator, which hurts, man, because there are so many good animated movies of late, but it feels like there's just not enough love sent back. So please, watch and support, because I really love these kind of movies. I need to start catching up on a lot of them too. So that's all I have to say. See you next time.